I think Kurt always had two agendas, one of which was to be faithful to the values that mattered to him. He loved the cultural values of the punk rock scene of the 80s. He was a feminist. He was anti-discrimination against gays. He had a real jaundiced eye about the establishment in terms of politics and certain aspects of capitalism. But at the same time, he admired some of the musicality and the ability to communicate on a mass canvas. So on the one hand, he would talk a lot about punk bands, some of which I hadn't even heard of at the time, like Flipper, the Melvins, Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, Fugazi. But he also was a huge Beatles fan. And all the guys in Nirvana like the Beatles, and it was like a guilty pleasure because it wasn't really cool in the early 90s, to like something from the previous generation, so they would call it the B word. And he also respected the power of certain heavy metal artists like Black Sabbath. So he, in his ascent, which happened rather quickly, he was always looking to the next step. And coming from not having any record company at all, being on Sub Pop, the label that put out Soundgarden, was definitely a step in the right direction. And Soundgarden was from the Northwest. But once he was on Sub Pop after one album, then he wanted to leave there too because he became frustrated. The records weren't always in the stores and so forth. And he wanted to do music completely on his own terms. He never compromised at all about anything to do with the art. But he had no qualms about associating with the companies or with the media that could reach a mass audience, because to him that was part of the art form. Again, he did admire John Lennon.